What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Back again with myself, Chuck Silver, and DFS Jayhawk. Jayhawk, how we doing? Happy Saturday, man.
Happy Saturday, man. Great slate today. Obviously, you're coming off another huge win. It's been a great year so far here at Occupy. So excited to break this down.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. Just pull up the lineup last night. I got fourth in the, I don't know, big one on FanDuel, I guess. I really thought I was going to get second. Freaking, who did it? Nas Reed, dude. Killed me. And then the other guy had Sensabaugh and Anthony Edwards. But we pointed out all of these guys as good plays on the stream. We spoke positively of all of them, except for Keontae. But then when Laurie was ruled out, we mentioned him in the Discord as the guy that gets the biggest usage bump in the lineup. Yeah, so just pretty good night. As you can see, we didn't do too much different. I mean, Champagne, and then you had to have Braun and AD. Wish I had Trae Young, but it's all good. We're going to keep doing it, keep putting ourselves at the top, keep giving ourselves chances to ship tournaments. So on to today, Jayhawk. You asked me a question before the stream started. How much Jokic are we playing? So I guess we'll start there with Denver. How much Jokic are we playing?
I'm just going to say a lot. Probably double the field, right?
Yeah, my current FanDuel run, I'm at about 60% Jokic. I don't think I'm going to go into the game with that much. We're looking at a 13-point spread. It's against the Wizards, and it's like the Nuggets against a completely injured Wizards team. It seems like it should be like projected for a blowout, right?
That's what I was thinking, man. But the Nuggets have been playing pretty bad this year overall, so could be closer than we think.
Yeah, I mean, 234, it's a really strong total, and I've talked about it all season. Washington is one of the teams to target players against, so Jokic is pulling massive ownership. We have some value to kind of get there comfortably, but what about the rest of the team? Aaron Gordon's coming back. Well, he's been back, but he's pulling a pretty heavy ownership. I was actually surprised how much I got of him, too. What do you think about Aaron Gordon as the second most owned player on this team?
Yeah, so I think he's also in a great spot, particularly both bigs with Jokic and Gordon should eat up against this Washington front court. And the douche, we'll get to his chat, but he says Murray, Christian Brown, and Gordon are all game time decisions. So that's a huge piece of news for the Nuggets there.
Yeah, it's going to definitely change things, but luckily it's the first game. We should have that news, maybe not by the time the stream ends, but are you in the Discord today, Jayhawk?
Yeah, I'm back to back today.
Yeah, make sure you join the Discord if you guys want to get additional info after the stream ends. And then, Jayhawk will just give you another look at things when that starts. We'll have more information. So from the rest of Denver, let's just assume everyone plays since everyone's in the model right now. I'm looking at Jamal Murray's 34% on FanDuel. He's 7,400. It's a good price, but how do you feel about Jamal Murray today?
Yeah, I think Jamal's a great play on FanDuel. Obviously, good price, good matchup. So I was going to ask you, though, if you're playing on FanDuel, would you be comfortable playing both Murray and Jokic in the same build, or would you, steer away from that?
Oh, I don't care. I played LeBron and AD together yesterday, and it worked out fine. And I don't set rules for it. If it's something like I run it and they're in all my lineups together, then I might maybe lock half and then set the rule so that at least half my lineups don't have it. But if the optimizer you're using is telling you that these are good lineups, then you should probably listen to it. So I get, though, intuitively, how can they both hit a ceiling? And they haven't done it often this year, but they still have it in them. I think it's fine to play them together.
Yeah, I think Murray's cheap enough on FanDuel as well. You can definitely play with him.
I actually didn't see that he did not attend shoot around this morning. So now I kind of lean towards him being out, actually.
And then Gordon, did you see if he attended? Because if he sits, then Peyton Watson, I think, would become very good value at 44.
Yeah, there's going to be some trickery going on right before the slate starts. So make sure you guys are at your computer ready to go. Downgraded to questionable is never good.
Yeah.
He was tagged as probable. He didn't go to shoot around either.
Even more Jokic than, right? Those guys.
Yeah, I mean, if those guys are out. So the biggest thing is if Jamal's out, then I might end up with that 60% Jokic, maybe more. Yeah, I mean, everyone just gets a boost. We're going to have to see how the model updates. So we'll leave that one up to you for the Discord Q&A after, not to spend too much time on this. But let's say, I don't even know how to phrase this, if who's in or who's out. But what do you think about MPJ, I guess?
So I think MPJ is still good if, those guys sit. Now, if they all played, I think MPJ would be, I don't like him as much, but they all said I think we should get a minor bump to MPJ as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game against Washington. I wonder if this is a little chasey because he put up 50 last game, but he was like 3% owned. His price is around the same. It's an awesome matchup. So I don't hate the ownership. I think he's a fine tournament play. He's definitely way better if like Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray miss, then he's probably going to be one of my higher exposed players today.
Yep, right there with you.
Let's take a look at the other side of this game, Washington. So Washington is missing everybody. Let's see. Kuzma's out. Sadiq Bey's been out. Malcolm Brogdon's out today. Corey Kispert's out. Keyshawn George is out. Alexander Sarr just got ruled out. And then Fuchsovich has been out. So they have like 8 players available. What's the starting point with Washington?
Yeah, dude. Crazy here with Washington. I think the starting point for me is probably Carrington here. Just really cheap price point. Obviously, pretty good producer. He's kind of my 1A here in Washington. And then after him, Koulibaly is picking up some steam, but for me, it's mostly Carrington. How about you, though?
Yeah, I mean, Carrington's the guy that's going to pop up in optimizers today. And assuming he starts, this is probably a pretty good price for him on DraftKings. And then FanDuel 47 sounds good, too. It's a lot of ownership for a guy that, he took a few games, but he actually came on pretty quick once he was given the playing time. And he's a good player, good rookie. He's one of the top values in the model. So let me see where I ended up. He's in your single entry right now, Carrington?
Yeah, for sure.
Just want to see how much I'm getting. Yep, I'm getting a pretty healthy amount of Carrington. I'll probably be slightly over the field if I had to guess. 31 minutes seems fine. I think last time people were asking about Jared Butler and Johnny Davis, and now Jared Butler's pulling a ton of ownership. Do you see him as like a pivot off of Carrington, or do you want to play him alongside of him?
This is tough. This is where I wanted to talk to you about this because I think he's fine. I don't think he's like a lock or anything, but I don't know, man. He's fine. I don't know. I don't really have like a huge lean on him.
It's just tough to know how the rotation is going to look because Brogdon was in. And then, so in the last game they played, they were blown out. He probably wasn't going to play the fourth quarter anyway.
Yeah, and then we potentially might get McBride for like 400 more at half the ownership. So maybe that's the play instead of Butler. Who knows? So.
Yeah, when we get to the Knicks, I'm very interested in McBride and Campaign if he ends up playing. I'm looking at the rotation for the last Wizards game. Jared Butler played like 7 minutes at the end of the first and to start the second quarter. Came back in again near the end of the third quarter, played 4 minutes, and then he got 7 minutes of blowout run. So the question is, how many of Brogdon's minutes is he going to take? Because they're probably just going to go to Carrington. He seems to be Brogdon's direct backup.
Yeah, that was my kind of lean to Carrington.
So I think the point of all that rambling is that, I don't know, models not identifying Jared Butler as a top value, even at this low price. He's like the 6th best value on his team. I understand he's going to make lineups work. We talk about it every day, projected for 19 minutes, but this is a little bit hefty of ownership. Maybe this will come down before lock, but I'd like to find some other spots and get away from this.
Yep, right there with you.
Let's see what we got. Yeah, Pirtle's in. Super happy about that. Kelly Olynyk making his season debut today. Nice. Davion Mitchell in. Appreciate you, Power. Yeah, the douche agrees. Not a problem on this slate if Jokic and Murray end up playing. Kind of sounds like Jamal's not playing, though, but we'll have to see what happens if we get that news and what the model says. Yeah, man, we all do this. I mean, next time maybe it ends up you make that swap and you end up shipping them also. That's DFS, baby. Strother season? Yeah, Strother would end up looking good. Let's go back to Denver for a second because this is probably going to be a huge point on the slate. Strother, he's not going to show up as anything right now because nothing's updated, but he's 3,100 on DraftKings. He's probably going to end up as strong chalk if anyone misses. It's the best if Jamal Murray misses, but if he misses and Gordon miss.
And Christian Brown, too, if he misses as well, it just makes him even better.
Yeah, just the more players out, the more minutes it opens up, and then we got to look at him and Russell Westbrook, but we'll see what the model thinks when we get that news, when we know who's playing.
Yep.
Poole's props got taken down. Dude, I took his overs. I guess we didn't really talk about Poole when we were talking about Washington, but he's pulling decent ownership. I think his price is fine. The spread's not terrible. He's a better play if those Denver guys are out.
Yeah, I agree. And I do you like his ownership compared to Jared Butler's ownership as well?
Yep. It's tough because the price point's much different, but Pool's OF index 9.8 at this price is very strong today. He's not pulling a ton of ownership. Model's not even updated for SAR yet. Wonder if that even goes up a little bit. Let's see. All right, so Pool didn't update, but SAR's still in there. We'll wait a few minutes and come back to Washington once it's updated for SAR. Yeah, I want to talk about the Knicks next because I think this is a pretty big spot. So Brunson, Cat, and Campaign are all game time decisions for the Knicks. Yeah, tell me about this team here. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so on paper here, regardless of these guys play, great matchup here for the Knicks. I think we both kind of lean at least one of Brunson or Cat sit. Are they gonna? They're not on the back to back, are they?
They played 2 days ago.
Yeah, so they're good. Yeah, so I think one of them sits. We can talk through the scenarios here. We mentioned McBride. If Brunson sits, becomes an elite play. Campaign would become a lot better. And then if Cat sits, it's going to push Sims probably in the starting lineup, but I don't love Sims as a play, so that's kind of my lean with those two guys.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Sims because if Cat gets ruled out, I'm almost positive Sims is going to show up as one of the top values on one of the sites. We don't even have him projected for 10 minutes now. Whatever minutes we do project him for, if we get that news, it's going to be extremely volatile. And so I'm assuming he's min price. He's not, well, I guess I can see. You said you're not going to have much interest in him.
You mentioned his minutes are just so tough to predict. He's a great producer. It's just tough to predict.
I think he's going to be a fine GPP play. Like, assuming his ownership stays low, I'm going to be comfortable getting over the field on him. It's tougher on FanDuel because he's center only, but DraftKings, at least we can play two. But you mentioned Campaign and Miles McBride being elite plays. If Brunson misses, I'm pretty comfortable playing both of them in the same lineup, assuming Payne plays too.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And even if Brunson plays and Campaign misses, this seems like pretty solid ownership for Miles McBride at these prices. On FanDuel, I think I had a pretty strong need for a cheap shooting guard, and so I'm going to be over this regardless of the news here. If we get news that one of these guys or both of them are out, McBride is just going to probably be the chalk play of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, either one of them sit, Brunson or Cat. I think both, Bridges, Harden, and Anunoby all get minor bumps as well.
Yes. So with just Jalen Brunson off the court, Cat gets the biggest usage bump, plus 5.5%, brings him up to 35%. It's like top 5 in the NBA. And Mikal Bridges gets the bump after that, after Cat. Surprisingly, Campaign and Miles McBride don't really get a usage bump. The uptick that we're hoping for is just that they get more minutes. So if they maintain like their regular efficiency, and Miles McBride, his effective field goal percentage is 77% with Jalen Brunson off the court, and it's enough minutes that it's a meaningful sample. That's number one in the NBA by a wide margin, more than centers. So Miles McBride usage doesn't go up, but for some reason he is elite efficiency without Jalen Brunson playing.
Yeah. No, I love McBride if Brunson sits for sure.
What's up, Spaniard? Good to see you, man. Patrick Baldwin Q makes Gill interesting. I'm going to wait another minute to go back to Washington to wait for the model to update. Jokic got to hit value early. They'll probably go big in Washington, start Bagley next to Joval. Man, yeah, this is going to be a huge first game, Jayok. I hope you're ready to process that news quickly when we get it.
I'm ready, brother. Bring it on.
Another question about Washington. Remember all these questions. We have to talk about every single player on Washington in a few minutes.
Let's do it.
Russ looks great. If Murray and Braun are out, yeah, he should. I'd like to see what the ownership looks like, but he's going to be a good play no matter what. For MPJ too. Cat, Brunson, and Campaign are all warming up? Okay. I tried to find info if they were at shoot-around, but I could not see that. But if they're all warming up right now, we really can't guess. We just have to wait.
Yeah.
And Josh Hart, yeah, that's the other thing. So if Brunson or Cat are out, people are going to flock to these value guys, which they should. And actually, Precious is in the mix too over Sims, actually, because Precious is back, but I don't think he can play max minutes yet. Knowing Tibbs, who knows? But I want to say he played like 16 last game. We can check that. But don't forget about Josh Hart, OG, and Mikal Bridges. They're all pulling heavy ownership already, but a lot of people are just going to flock to the other guys. But these guys are all going to obviously be better with one of these guys off the court.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're all in play though in the mid tier as well, even if they play.
All right, so we spent 15 minutes talking about the first game. Let's go to number 2.
Let's see it.
I saw something about Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe earned a start. Caruso affects his, and Kason Wallace's upside, though. Yeah, glad you mentioned that power. Nice timing, too. So, OKC, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, so I'm just going to start out with SGA here. I think he's a really good tournament play. 12%. He did lose, I think, a fourth quarter run last game to blowout. I think he looks good here once again in tournaments. So I like him up top. And then the rest of OKC here, I'm not getting to a ton of. I Power talked about Isaiah Joe. I don't know about you, but I haven't really played these OKC value guys all year. Hasn't burned me too much, but what do you think about OKC here?
I can tell you that Isaiah Joe is my favorite value play on OKC for sure.
Okay.
Even over on FanDuel, he's 4,100 at shooting guard. And like I mentioned with Miles McBride, I think we have a need for a cheap shooting guard today. So he fits in my lineups pretty well. Love SGA. Yeah. So with him and Jalen Williams, dude, the problem is these minutes. So we have SGA projected for 35, Jalen for 33, and I feel like that's higher than we usually have Jalen for 30, 31, and the reason is that they blow out every team they play. They're only 8-point favorites against the Pelicans today, and the Pelicans have some guys back, but OKC is just a force in this league right now. And so I think SGA and Jalen are awesome tournament plays. Their ownerships, I mean, they're in check because they're just not getting the minutes, but look at this. Like Jalen Williams, 28 minutes, close game, 37, 34. 36. Like we just need a close game. And then if Jalen Williams plays 35 plus minutes, I think he's one of the top plays on the slate. It's just as long as the Pelicans can keep it close.
100%, dude. And SGA would go realistically probably for 60 every slate if the game stayed close. If every game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at this. SGA 30 minutes, puts up 50. We're not winning a tournament, but he's not killing our lineups either. But 36, 37, 39, putting up like closer to tournament winning scores. And so I think we just keep playing these guys more than the field. Their ownerships, like I said, are not too high. Their prices are both fine. And then I'm going to throw out Isaiah Hartenstein again as a top tournament play. He only scored 4 real points, and he almost got there for these prices. So at these ownerships, I'd like to get back there.
Yeah, love that shot there. Hardenstein's been really good since he's came back, so love that.
And then I have to mention Kason Wallace, Caruso, Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins. I mean, these guys are projected for some minutes. The model's not identifying any of them as really strong value. Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe look fine. Kason Wallace, not so much today for some reason, but he's been pretty consistent. The minutes have been there. We'll have to see with Caruso back exactly how that affects the rotation. Other side of this game, New Orleans. What's your starting point here?
Ooh, New Orleans here. I don't really have like a true starting point, if I'm going to be honest. I think probably would be one of the studs here with DeJounte or BI if I was going anywhere. I know you partially like DeJounte tonight, at least on the betting side, but yeah, I think DeJounte's fine in tournaments, but where do you kind of start here for New Orleans?
Well, it was going to be DeJounte, but the model's telling me no. 7.9 OF index at 8K is not good. Single-digit DK value. I mean, he's projected for no ownership, so I'm probably still going to be over the field just because I always am on DeJounte, but not by much, or maybe I'll just be at this 5% on FanDuel. BI looks really good, double-digit OF, only a couple $100 more at no ownership. CJ, I think he's a tough play on FanDuel, but again, he's pulling no ownership on either site, so I think we can take tournament shots on all these guys. No one like stands out to me, though.
Yeah, that's kind of my same. They all kind of look just average to me.
I'll say I'm okay getting to Missy though. He has the ceiling potential, and Tice already got ruled out today, so the minutes could be there for him. So Missy 6 and 3%. I think it's worth some shots at center. Mostly on DraftKings. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't hate it in tournaments. I think that's a good shot.
And last time, so Herb Jones was 3,900 on FanDuel. The coach said he's going to play 30 minutes, and the whole industry projected him for 20. He came in 5% owned and put up 40. He put up a 10x. I messed up because I meant to play a bunch of him, but then I got scared and I didn't. But he's up to 5K. He's pulling 7% ownership. If he didn't have 40 last game, I don't think he'd be pulling this ownership. But the model's saying he's okay at the price, and so I don't know that we have to target him now that his price is better.
Yeah, I agree. We did get some news, though, Chuck. We're going back to the Denver game because we got some news.
I love it, dude. This is awesome.
I'm going back.
All right, I'm going to get to these questions. We're going to look at Washington and we'll go to Denver for the update. But there are still 4 other games that we have to talk about, so we'll try to get through those as quick as we can. Kolek, if the Knicks are out, it's just tough because the minutes are not going to be there, but I like where your head's at. I said this like exact thing about KJ Simpson and it didn't work out. But the problem is I don't think McBride or Payne can get benched for this guy like Micic could. There's no minutes. If you're playing the showdown, this is probably worth some shots, but on the main slate, I think it's even too deep. If Payne and Brunson are out, maybe. We'll see what the model thinks. Hey, really enjoy you being here. Appreciate it. And if you're watching, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate you guys for doing that for us. Jayhawk, in a situation where it could blow out, but you're hoping it stays close, how important is a run back from the other side?
Yeah, so if it's staying close, I don't think a run back is like necessary. Like in the NFL, typically you want to run back, but in the NBA, unless there's like a really good play you like from the other side, I don't think it's like completely necessary. But you can definitely do it. Sorry, that was a lot, but it's not like fully necessary, but it's fine.
Again, yeah, I mean, just to add on to what you said, I don't set rules like that. I think it's too restrictive if you're making a lot of lineups. Like if you're hand building, I get it's intuitive to do that, but and not to keep like going back to this yesterday, but I played 4 players from the Spurs in a blowout and they were on the losing team. I had no run back from Sacramento. I played the 2 most expensive players on the slate for the Lakers, no Atlanta run back. Didn't matter. 2 Utah guys, no Portland run back. And so I don't care. Or I should say it's not, I don't think it's that important. I think other things are much more important to focus on. Jayhawk on the turbo slate for DraftKings, is Luka a lock?
Ooh, let's see their matchup here. They're playing Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a lock, but I think he's definitely a really good play at that price. You know, Toronto's just really bad, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say the difference in ownership between him and Jokic. Like, I agree, Jokic is a better play. Model agrees too.
Yeah.
I thought the difference in ownership was too great, but now that we have Jamal and Aaron Gordon out, it's probably like this hasn't even updated for that yet, so it's probably going to get even more extreme. So I really like mixing in Luka in your exposures, assuming we're all going to have a ton of Jokic today.
Yeah, and I think there's a scenario we potentially could get them both in now with this Denver value. So to look at that.
But for is he a lock on the turbo slate? I'm gonna just assume that's Dallas, Toronto, Detroit, New York. If we get the New York guys out, he's close to a lock, yeah, because it's just you're gonna have to spend the salary somewhere.
Yeah.
How important is correlation? Less important on bigger slates. I don't think it's as important in NBA as it is in other sports, but yeah, slightly less important. I mean, because we still some of like the leverage points that we take from like NFL, for example. I don't know, like stacking a team. There's some correlation with if the game stays close, maybe they all play more minutes together, something like that. But I don't think about it too much when I'm playing NBA.
Yeah, I don't. It's NBA is not really a sport I do correlation too much. I agree.
I'm not saying it's not important. I just there's other things to focus on, and I keep saying that without saying what the other things are. But let's go back to Washington. This is updated pool. Man, up to a 10.5 OF index. He's pulling a little more ownership. Now that it's a 13-point spread, I'm curious what this is going to close at. Is Denver 13 points better than Washington with Jamal and Aaron Gordon out?
I don't think so, man. I don't know. Denver, they're still fine as a team, but 13's a lot with those 2 out.
Yeah, Denver kind of sucks right now. The Lakers suck too, so I'm not just hating. Yeah, Poole seems fine to me at this ownership. The model is really telling us he's a good play. The model likes Koulibaly a lot. This is a really strong off index for how cheap he is. Carrington, model's probably going to tell us he's the best value play on the slate now.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to think this is still crunching because I don't think 3 Washington guys are top of value. But yeah, even Justin Champagnie, I'm curious if I wasn't really looking too much at him today, but let's say he starts. I think we can have interest in him, right?
I like him a lot in tournaments. Yeah, he's a pretty good producer when he gets the minutes. Shout out to his brother last night, by the way. Huge
shout out to his
game.
brother.
But yeah, I think he's a great play here, especially with Sarr out now. Doesn't really affect him directly, but more minutes to him as well.
Yeah, actually, I think we probably have to play him off the bench too.
Yeah, he's cheap enough.
Yeah, because they don't have enough bodies to not give him good minutes. He played 29 in the last game. We have Champagne projected for 26, so that's probably still a high projection. But if we gave him 29, he'd just show up in every lineup we made today.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The douche, in his opinion, you only need to create correlation with bringbacks if you want to play the underdog. And for the underdog to have a great game, you need the game to stay close, like Detroit underdog versus Boston. Great point. I'm actually glad you brought that up. Yeah, because that worked out a few games ago. Yeah, like Boston was a favorite. They were the chalk. Everyone was playing them. No one wanted the Detroit side as huge underdogs. But like all the Detroit guys were good plays either way. The Detroit guys were just, all the Boston guys were good plays either way. The Detroit guys were just underowned. You don't need a Detroit player with Boston, but you most likely want a Boston player if you play a Detroit player. Yep, love that. Put that very well.
And you're talking to the person who shipped with the player right here. Right above me.
It's like you're explaining to me what I did because I don't understand it myself. Russ probably starts now. Dude, he's going to end up as one of the chalk plays too. Well, we got our value, guys, so it's no problem to fit in any of the pay-ups. We can probably get a lineup with Jokic and
Luka.
I don't think it's optimal to do, but it's probably pretty easy now.
Go Luka. I mean, SGA and Jokic too, if you can get up to Luka as well.
Dude, I wanted to cry when I saw Franz got hurt earlier. That was the guy that I staked my reputation on him before the season started. It's looking pretty good. Playoff Jimmy? Are you saying it's playoff Jimmy today? Because I took his unders. Let's talk about Miami real quick while we wait for the model to update. What do you think about anybody here?
Yeah, so Miami wasn't really a team I was loving to get to. Tyler Hero's had a couple of good games. 14%. I don't think he's the craziest played. Bam had a great game the other night. Don't hate mixing him in, but I feel like all these guys, at least for me, just kind of mixing them in, mixing and matching. But what's your kind of take here for Miami?
Yeah, I see them all as just tournament plays. I don't think anyone quite makes it in the core. I'll point out Haywood Highsmith has a really good DK value rating, 3,700, only showing up at 13% ownership. And given all the other value that just opened up, he's probably a really good pivot to mix in. And yeah, Bam, you mentioned it. He's going to be my top tournament play from this game. Double-digit OF index, okay value score on both sides, 8,200, modest ownership. I think he's a great play. And then, yeah, we're going to mix in Jimmy and Tyler Hero too. I'm not sure about the ownership on FanDuel, though, for like Butler and Harrow. It feels a little chasey for Jimmy, but he seems like he actually cares about basketball recently. So, and then Pele Larson out. So, what did we have him for? Like 12 minutes, 16 minutes. So those will go somewhere else. Is there anything else you're interested in here?
No, I think we covered him, man, for the most part.
Nice. Yep. Douche, one of our mainstays in Discord. Appreciate you, brother.
Shout out, Douche.
KD's not playing. No need for playoff Jimmy. Damn. Take a quick look at the other side of this game, Phoenix. So Nurkic's out. They've been doing weird stuff. They've started Oso. Did they start both of them last game? But what are we looking at with Phoenix?
Oh, man. Phoenix, I don't want to say I'm playing zero, but I'm kind of almost playing zero. These guys, even with KD out, I feel like Booker and Beal are just kind of priced where they should be for the most part. So I don't know. If you want to get like a low on Booker, that'd probably be my favorite play, but it's a tough click. I played Plumlee last night. He won me tournament, or didn't win me tournament, but got me high on the tournament list. I don't know. He's fine. I don't love. Okay, yeah. I said you had to call me out there. I think he's fine. I just don't love the matchup here for him.
Yeah, assuming he's starting. I was mistaken. Royce O'Neal started next to Mason Plumlee, and so in my initial run, I have more interest in Royce O'Neal. No KD, just for some reason he's really good in these situations. And then I still think Devin Booker is a really good tournament play to pay up for. I mean, 5 and 13% seems a little light. We have the value to get there. Everyone's going to flock to Jokic or Luka. We can play Devin Booker with Jokic or Luka in the same lineup and still be pretty comfortable everywhere else. So love mixing in Booker. Tyus Jones price just makes lineups work. I think he's okay. And then, like you said, Mason Plumlee is probably, 4,200 is the wrong price if he's starting, but the minutes are kind of weird.
Yeah.
Douche is max one total sun. Interesting.
I like that.
Could be like the Lakers last night. Beal and Booker could both go off. Yeah. I think max one total on the Suns. That's kind of I mean, that's a take. I don't hate it, though. Miami's a tough matchup. The total's 223. It's actually not a bad total. Close spread. Yeah, let's get back to let me refresh this. Let's get back to Dallas, Toronto. Nothing changed there. Yeah, we talked about Luka at least, but beyond Luka, are you looking at anyone else on the Mavs as a tournament play?
I think Kyrie would be my main other consideration here. And just kind of in lineups, I'm not getting Luka just because I think it's another great matchup for Kyrie as well. He's had some big games as well, so don't hate mixing him in.
So the field wanted Klay Thompson. He was 6K. Now they don't want him. He's 4,800, 4,500. His minutes are way down. He's shooting awful. Is there any GPP interest in Klay Thompson here?
It's tough, man. Yeah, that's kind of funny you mentioned that. Why are they not playing him now? But yeah, he's fine. I don't love him here.
He's showing up for me on FanDuel. I have a few percent. Not getting there on DraftKings, though, even at the price. It's unfortunate. Quentin Grimes played 24 minutes off the bench last game. It's tough because I still think he's not a bad play at 4,600 on FanDuel. 27 is too high of a minutes projection, though. If he plays 27 minutes, I'll be happy to play him at 4,600. I don't think he plays 27 minutes, though. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, he's been getting around 20 minutes with Luka and Kyrie back. No one's playing him today, 1%. Again, 27 minutes is too high of a projection, but I still think he's fine to mix in, even though the model says no. All right, other side of this game, Toronto. What's your starting point here?
Yeah, so for Toronto here, typically I would say play Scotty Barnes a ton, but they finally bumped his price here up to 9,500. So it's a pretty big price point here for Scotty. I still think he's in play in tournaments, but definitely prefer obviously Jokic, Luka, SGA up top. But if you want to mix some in, I don't hate like the mini game stack idea of Scotty and Luka together. So fine mixing him in. And then how do you feel about Pirtle? Because typically Dallas isn't like the best rebounding team. So maybe we can mix some Pirtle, but how do you feel here about Toronto?
Oh, man. Smitty, are you in the chat? I feel like you either told me centers were really good to target against Dallas or really bad. I feel like it was really good, though. Pirtle at under 10% ownership. The 7,300 on DraftKings seems fine. And then on FanDuel, I don't think I'm going to do anything. But if I end up with him in lineups, I probably won't change it. Seems fine because, again, the 31 minutes, he's coming back from an injury. But if it's a close game, he could end up playing 34, 35.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think Grady Dick's fine at 2% ownership.
And nice to have him back here for Toronto, right? They need him.
Yeah, they need some help. They got Kelly O back today. He's projected for 15 minutes. I mean, if I get a couple percent, I think I'll keep it. 4,300 on FanDuel. Probably not on DraftKings, but I don't know. It's not a guy that I'm going to try to make sure I get, but if I do, I'm not going to take it away.
Do you agree with the minute projection for him at like 15? It's probably something about it.
Yeah, I think it's tough to project him for any more. And then, I mean, we could project him for less. We could project him for like 12, 13, but we can't project him for more. I don't know what potential he has to play more. He's been out for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think too.
Do we say Isaiah Joe's going to get the start? I don't want to speculate because I don't know.
Yeah, it's always a crapshoot there with OKC.
Is it fair to say the rules you make are crucial to MMEing? So when I run my lineups, I don't start with any rules. I will like go in and set rules if I see something or if I'm trying to make something happen. But a lot of the time, I just run. Do you have a different answer there?
Yeah. I mean, for me, the rules I kind of just said are just like max players. I typically max like two to three depending on the slate. But yeah, it's kind of I don't have like a ton of rules.
Yeah, maybe like max 2, max 3 from a team once in a while if I'm getting a lot, or if maybe like with Washington today, the Knicks today, we have a bunch of value plays. Maybe I'll limit it to like 3 of a team. But again, if the optimizer is giving you those combos, then it's probably good.
Yeah.
So going back to Denver, it's still not updated. So, all right, let's jump to one of the other games while we wait for the update. Memphis and Boston. Yeah, we got the douche pointing out in the chat. Bane, JJJ, and Ja are all sub 10% on FanDuel, as they should be. But Jayhawk, what are we doing with the Grizzlies?
Yeah, let's talk about Jaw because maybe we can kind of run this back with how Cade was low owned and Jaw's in the same spot. So don't hate him in tournaments. He's kind of the guy there. So his ownership, I like him in tournaments. And then Bane and JJJ, I think I prefer Bane over JJJ just because I don't love the matchup in the inside for Jaren Jackson. So like Jaw in tournaments, like Bane, probably lower on Jaren for me.
Yeah, I mean, John Moran at 8,800, his price is going up for no reason. The problem is minutes. He's projected for 32. I don't even know if we can project him for 32. He hasn't played 32 minutes since November 4th. It's over a month. And so it's like, I mean, it's supposed to be ramping up, but it doesn't seem like it is. This was a close game against Sacramento. He only played 28 minutes. He wasn't in foul trouble. So for me, Jaw is a really tough click. I don't mind getting there. I've been over the field on him every day. And today, I don't know if I love this. I know I liked Cade against Boston, but this is just a little bit different of a situation. And then the model's high on Bane every day. I'm going to keep playing him every day. 9.8 OF index, strong value on both sides, pulling very little ownership. I think it's fine as GPP shot.
Yeah, I like the call there, Ben.
Marcus Smart, 22% on DraftKings, 4,400. What are you doing with him?
Yeah, that seems questionable chalk to me. I don't know, man. He's cheap, but I feel like we have better plays, right, for value, especially now with the Denver news.
I'm actually getting a decent amount on DraftKings. Yeah, I haven't reran for Denver or Washington, but before that, I was getting a pretty decent amount. It's going to go down. Anything else here?
I think that does it. Yeah, because I'm just not really interested in targeting the bigs here.
Scotty Barnes is a king. That is all from Rocket Sauce. Jim says Towns or Barnes. So Rocket says, Jim, please, come on. Hate 1v1s, but Cat is higher on the model than Scotty Barnes. So the answer for us is going to be Cat.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Laravia or Isaiah Joe in a GPP. Problem is, what has Laravia's minutes been like?
Yeah, man, Laravia, I haven't played for like a couple weeks now.
He played. He's played less. No, he's been in. His just minutes are fluctuating. 22, 11, 29. I mean, if he plays 29 minutes, and we knew that before the game, we're playing 100% of him. But if he plays 11, we're playing 0. So super volatile situation. Laravia, we haven't projected for 18 at 3,700, 2% ownership. I definitely think he's worth some shots at 2% ownership. Yeah, even with the team mostly healthy. But like I said, Isaiah Joe was showing up more for me earlier.
I would lean Joe for sure.
Cat's questionable though. Yeah, if Cat's in, I mean, I assume he's good to go, and he's one of the top plays on the model.
Yeah, I think we think he's going to play because participating at shoot around typically means they play, not necessarily guaranteed.
And then real quick, anything you're looking at from Boston?
Yeah, so Boston, shout out Drew Holiday. I'm pretty sure he had a great game yesterday. We shouted him out a couple times, I think. So shout out Drew. And then, yeah, Kristaps is back here off a back-to-back. Horford out. So I think all these guys are fine in tournaments. I always lean getting up to Tatum here at his ownership, but I don't think any of these guys are like flag plays.
Yeah, over on DK, I'm getting some Tatum as a GPP play, a little bit of Drew Holiday, and then just a few percent of White and Jaylen Brown. And over on FanDuel, I'm getting a decent amount of Drew Holiday, and then again, just a couple percent of the other guys as GPP plays. All right, let's refresh this and hope that Washington is fully updated. Okay, so Jordan pulled back down to a 9.9 OF index. Still very strong, not the 10.5 we had a minute ago. Koulibaly came down a little bit. Jonas is showing up as a strong value. If he starts, I think we can get there. If he's off the bench, he's just a risky GPP play, but still fine to play. Bagley, though, if he starts, 4,300 center only on DraftKings, projected for 31% ownership. Do you like getting there?
I like him if he starts. Now, if he doesn't start for some reason and Joe Val starts, I would much prefer Joe Val that ownership.
Yeah, I think whoever ends up starting is who I'm going to get to more.
100%, yeah.
Bagley. Is this FanDuel? Oh, I'm not even getting to Bagley on FanDuel at all. 0%.
I see 5K. That's a little bit different of a price. So.
Yeah, he's 5K. That's just real. I mean, if we knew that he was going to get all the minutes, 5K is a great price for Bagley, but projected for 26, I'd like I'd like for him to be projected for a couple more if I'm going to play him at 5K. And then over on DraftKings, actually not even getting that much over on DraftKings, only 20%.
Yeah, it's so tough to kind of guess which one, because if Joe Val plays, his minutes are much more secure there.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have to see that starting lineup, so you can handle that in the Q&A.
Sir.
Let's see if Denver updated. Nice. So 7 players in the model for Denver: Hunter Tyson and Julian Strother, 2 of them. Yeah, these ownerships, man. Jokic 51 and 40%. 45 minutes is obviously wrong, but model's still crunching. Michael Porter Jr., his ownership is up to 20. It's probably still a little bit light. I think I might be over that. Russ, heavy. Peyton Watson, everyone's heavy ownership. So what now?
Like the douche said, Julian Strother, 3.1K. Let's fire him up.
Well. Yeah, man, let's fire up Julian Strother. I don't think that we should expect him to start. What's the starting lineup today? Russ, Brown, Porter, Jokic, and Peyton Watson.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
So, I mean, Strother's got to be in line for good minutes off the bench. He put up a 2 in his last game, but I don't think we care. I mean, we don't care. Not that we don't. We think. Just hope he gets to 20 minutes. We haven't projected for 25. I mean, if you told me with 100% certainty that Strother was going to play 25 minutes, I'd probably have even more of him. There's still some volatility in the minutes, but I don't know. Maybe he gets blowout run too, and that's even better. So he's just going to be probably the best value on the slate overall.
Yeah, let's talk about my guy Christian Braun here real quick, because he's not pulling any ownership. Or pulling a little bit of ownership. I think he's still in play. Obviously, I prefer Strother for the savings, but I still think he's in play at 5,400. The ceiling I kind of question at that price, but I still think he probably looks pretty good even at that ownership. But what's your kind of take there with?
I think we got to get there. I'm looking at him kind of like a better version of Grady Dick. Price is kind of similar, even though the ownership's going to get there. It's just his usage is strong in this situation. Unfortunately, I wasn't prepared for this, so I don't have that info in front of me. But let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Russell Westbrook. How much Russell Westbrook?
A lot, dude. I feel like him and Jokic, Strother, and Watson probably my clear-cut top 4 plays there.
Yeah, I mean, how many Denver players in the lineup? We've been talking about all these rules and correlation.
Dude, it seems like we could probably, if you include Strother, maybe we can get 4 in. Is that too much? Because he's 3K.
I don't know, dude. If it's like Jokic, MPJ, Brown, Strother, or Brown and Westbrook, yeah, maybe I'd set max 3 of Jokic, Porter, Brown, and Westbrook. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then allow Strother to be with those 3, but...
Yeah, I kind of like that rule. I think maybe Jokic, Porter, Westbrook, 2 out of the 3 of those 2. Maybe that might be wrong. That's kind of what I was looking at, though.
So with no Jamal Murray, would you consider locking Jokic tonight?
Definitely, dude. For sure. On this matchup, for sure. His ceiling is like... I don't even know if he has a ceiling tonight, honestly. Just kidding. He has a ceiling.
With Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Dario Saric off the court, Jokic has a 34.5% usage rate, which is actually lower than I expected. LaMelo's number 1 in the NBA right now at around 37 for reference. And this actually is a 5% usage bump from what it is with Jamal and Aaron Gordon on. So he gets a bump. Russell Westbrook gets 2% added to his usage, up to 27% usage. Very strong for his price tonight. Peyton Watson and Julian Strother both get very minor bumps. Yeah. And then I guess MPJ doesn't really get a bump in usage.
MPJ he's always chucking. Doesn't really matter.
There should be more opportunity for him there, though.
Yeah.
Still no word on Branson. I didn't see anything.
I think they play, man. Yeah, it's kind of my
lane. Max 2 of Brown, Strother, Watson, MPJ. I don't know. I still feel like it's too restrictive. I know it's like, how can 3 of these guys end up in a winning lineup tonight over on FanDuel? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I can't imagine I'm going to get many lineups with 3 of them. Go ahead.
It's just such a good spot for them too. Like typically I would say, yeah, probably, but this is like after Utah, one of the best spots for teams. So. And
we'll build a quick dummy. I know you got to get to Discord. Rocket Sauce, you take Lively in the 6th round of every underdog draft. You're in. Good idea. I don't think you should be taking the same player in the last round. That's one of the things that I would want to mix up a lot, because a lot of time, if you're using the model, you're going to find guys that you have a lean on in the early rounds, and then it's too restrictive to only have Derek Lively as your last round pick. You really got to mix it up. Because what if you have the nuts, except for the last round pick, you really want to give yourself more shots on goal.
All right, so real quick, we just got the Washington news. Champagny and Joval are starting. No Marvin Bagley.
Okay, so Marvin Bagley, honestly, I want to say he's mostly out of play. If he shows up a couple % on DraftKings, fine. But all right, so let's start with Washington. Who are we plugging in?
Carrington and probably Joval for sure for me.
Yeah, we'll do Carrington. I'm pretty sure the model is going to approve of Joval, but let us know in 15 minutes in the Discord.
And then how much Champagny do you want? Because he's starting 3,500.
All of him. All the Champagny.
Give it to me.
Yeah. You got it, Rocket Sauce. You're welcome. Asar Thompson's out. Thank you, Power. Do we like Butler or Bagley not starting? The thing I said about Butler was because he was pulling the ownership. I don't know if he pulls the ownership now that he's not starting. It's going to shift to Carrington and Champagny. And so if Butler is still pulling ownership, I don't think we should play much of him at all. Play the guys that are starting.
Yeah, completely agree there.
But you should still mix him in. I shouldn't say at all. You should still mix him in if he's pulling ownership. I don't think you should ever full fade the chalk. Just play less. Might lock Champagny on FanDuel. Yeah, on FanDuel. Most of my action's on FanDuel today, and I already had a ton of Champagny. I can't imagine I don't have like 90%. Who's next, Jayhawk?
Let's get Jokic in there, man. Another side.
Easy game, dude. Yeah. And then, man, dude, it's like our lineups are going to have 6 spots taken up from the first game. We got to put Strother in here.
Strother, yep, just about to mention him.
Although I am curious, let them know in the Q&A in a few minutes. Again, guys, instructions to join that are in the description below. Because I'm so curious where Strother's. Okay, so he's currently 4th best value at min price. Jokic is the 3rd best points per dollar value, and he's the most expensive player by $2,000. I might lock him.
I think it's fine to lock him. I probably will.
And then Bagley showing up here. Model hasn't updated for this yet, so ignore that.
Yeah.
Christian Brown, number 1 model play, though. Do we want to, or value play? Do we want to just do it?
Yeah, we can do it. For this build, I'm fine with it.
Usage goes up with the other guys out. I guess, I don't know, Brown or MPJ, or should we just go with Russ?
I think we got to get Russ in there, man.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, 5th in value. Obviously higher usage than Brown. So I'm going to say Brown is rating out as, like, that's a pretty decent difference in value for both sites. Russ is the play, but Brown is a very strong pivot. I don't think you necessarily have to fade Russ. You can play them together, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Russell
Do you think, is there any way Russ doesn't start, you think? Or I think he starts, but is there a possibility you think he doesn't?
I think he does, but it's it is possible he doesn't. I don't know who they'd start instead of him. They can't start Strother at the point.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning to.
Who did I say I might lock? Nikola Jokic.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to push the lock button when I say that. That just means I'm going to have 90% plus, maybe. And then we have enough for 2 more pay-ups, so we plugged in the value we like. We already have Jokic. I don't know. We haven't even done anything with like the Knicks with this lineup, so that could throw another wrench in it once we get that news. But who do you want to pay up for?
Like Luka, like SGA, Cat's in play, but we already have 2 centers, so let's go. I guess we don't have any guard spots.
Yeah, Jason Tatum or Jalen Williams, I guess.
Yeah, we can go for one of those guys. That's fine.
The Champagny at power forward. All right, so there's if you can find the edge at power forward today, it seems like that's a position that Occupy doesn't have a strong lean on.
We have Watson too at 44.
Watson at 44. Okay. Yeah. So we can mix him in too. And then I'll just plug in Mikal Bridges in the dummy since he fits and to get a piece from New York. But yeah, going to be a lot of Denver, Washington. Weigh how strong the value that we have now. Like this is guaranteed value versus saving those spots for maybe value later. Whoever we get later will be lower owned, but no guarantee they're as good as now. So any final words?
No, hopefully this Denver game doesn't kill us tonight.
Really appreciate you guys watching us on this Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck tonight. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.